because of course in the Mahabharata narrative, Ganga gave birth to Bhishma, and then because of some conflict of interest, Ganga took Bhishma and left. And after some time, when the Shantanu was roaming alone in the Ganga river, the narrative says Ganga comes and gift Bhishma to Shantanu. So it's like Bhishma is considered as a gift of Ganga to Shantanu. So similar kind of an equivalence here. Divodasa is considered as a gift from Saraswati to Vadrashva. So Vadrashva is an ancient king, similar to Shantanu in Ganga. Vadrashva was there in Saraswati. And similar to Bhishma, how Bhishma is considered as a gift of the river Ganga to Shantanu, Divodasa is considered as a gift of this what do you call gift of Saraswati to Vadrashva. So that is another interesting aspect of Saraswati. Then how the culturally Saraswati is related to the Bharata kings, early kings like Divodasa, considered as gift of Saraswati, because he lived in the banks of, he lived and nurtured, got nurtured on the banks of Saraswati. That is why the poets make that kind of interesting poetical attribution, praising of Divodasa as a gift of Saraswati to Vadrashva, his father Vadrashva. So similarly, there was a kind of there were Panis living on the banks of Saraswati. That is also we get Panis are the traders. The words like Pana means Pana is basically means shops, and Panya means trade goods. Pani means traders. So trading, lot of trading. So that is also significance. Like on the banks of Saraswati, we also know that there are a lot of Harappan cities, and they were engaging in a lot of trade. And it's a very prosperous place. So that is also recorded in the Ṛgveda. The Panis were there on the Saraswati, and there was mentioning about this settlement on the Pani settlement on the banks of Saraswati get flooded because of the floods in the river Saraswati. So that's also is mentioned in this sixth mandala references of Saraswati. And there are people named as a Brisaya like that, which are like related to Twashtar. Again, trade, connecting to trade. Twashtar is a kind of a god which is related to construction and trade, primarily about construction. So again, connecting to this you can say this is the connecting to the Harappan cities, which are like because they are very much architects and constructors, etc. And another like terminology of Saraswati, the synonym of Saraswati used in Ṛgveda in the sixth mandala is Paravatagni. So Paravatagni means the destroyer of foreigners or invaders. So how that word comes to Saraswati is because the Saraswati was at least in the northern part of the Saraswati, it was a very like a wide river, like Sindhu river, and it's difficult to cross that river because of the fast flows. So this becomes a natural border, a natural kind of fort for anybody, any kind of Western like people coming and attacking the very fertile Vara Prithvya, the best place in the world. So that the regions to the east, east of Saraswati, that is the Kurukshetra region, is it is considered as the best place, and that is the homeland and the cradle of Bharata kings. So any foreign tribes comes there, then they will get stopped at the Saraswati river. That is why she is called Paravatakni. That is the destroyer of foreigners and invaders. So any kind of Western foreign tribes cannot cross Saraswati and reach the Vara Prithvi or Kurukshetra, so that they have a natural fortress in Saraswati. So that's also again another point mentioned in the sixth mandala of the Ṛgveda regarding Saraswati, and she is also mentioned as Vajnivati, that is like rich in horses. Rich in horses means Vaji means horse. So Vajnivati is the river Saraswati is rich in horses. So here actually a lot of this is also the Western scholars twist this synonym or this name of Saraswati. Saying there are no horses in Haryana. So the horses are seen in Afghanistan. So since Saraswati is praised as Vajinivati, she must, just because of this single name of Saraswati, she must be in Afghanistan. Why? Because in Afghanistan there are so many horses. This is completely a kind of a nonsensical statement, because the poet is not mentioning that no, the Vajinivati means the rich in horses, but poet is not mentioning the horses are actually originating on the banks of Saraswati, right? It can come because of the trade relationship between the western regions like Afghanistan, and that is the real case, because these are like there are plenty of Harappan cities along the river Saraswati. The archaeology also support that the larger number of Harappan cities were along the Saraswati river compared to Sindhu river. All these Harappan cities are very much wealthy and rich. The Panis mentioned as a Panis, settlement of Panis, they are wealthy and rich, and they were engaging in the land trade relationship with wherever the horses are. So even if you look at it in Mahabharata, the horses are traded. So that entire confusion is eliminated. Everywhere it says that the Kuru king purchased horses from the Kekeya, Kamboja horses they purchased, horses from Kashmira they got, horses from Vanayu, horses from Sindhu. So they always say horses they got from somewhere in the northern or western region. They very clearly mentioned. So it does the excellent quality horses that are required for battle, they come from outside, from the north or west, and their names also indicate Sindhu horses means these are the horses to the north of Kashmir, the Sindhu, which is flowing along in the Himalayan mountains. Even today, there are good breed horses born there. Similarly, horses from Afghanistan, etc., are considered as Sindhu horses, because these horses come from Afghanistan along Kuba River, that is Kabul River, and come through Sindhu River. There are trade points in Sindhu River, and from there these horses come to Kuru Panjala region, where the kings and warriors will purchase the horses. So they are called Sindhu breed of horses, or Vanayu breed of horses, or Kamboja breed. Kamboja also again northwest, or Kekeya breed, Gandhara breed of horses. So everything is from northwest. All the horses comes because the kings were all the kings who can purchase the horses were all along the banks of Saraswati. So the Saraswati is rich in horses because they are all brought into this Saraswati river bank. And the important Ṛgvedic pastime, apart from the Dyuta means playing of dice. Another recreation activity was horse race. So along the banks of Saraswati have a very long bank, very open area. And in that banks of Saraswati, they were used to do the horse competition, horse riding competition. So whichever king wins, they will get prizes. And chariot also, like horse even chariots also they will ride. And whichever king or warrior become winner, they get prizes. So something like car race or bike race, etc. So all because of all these reasons, Saraswati is called Vajinavati, rich in horses. And then she is also mentioned Vritrakni. So Vritra, the original name of Vritra, the Vritra means obstacles. So Saraswati, because of its fast flowing river, it can break any obstacles along its path. It's called Vritrakni. So it is like similar to how Indra is called Vritrakna. It's a masculine name, but Saraswati is called Vritrakni, the feminine name. That is, river Saraswati is also destroyer of obstacles. And it's also mentioned about Sapta Swasha, like Saraswati is having 7 sisters. So this reference is to the 7 other rivers that are like similar to Saraswati in that local region. All these things are like hinted in by the poet in this first mandala. Sorry, the chronologically first mandala, that is sixth mandala. And one more thing, this 7 sisters, which we typical identification is with the 7 rivers like Sapta Sindhu, etc. But I argue in my book that the best identification is with there are so many rivers which are like in the vicinity of the Saraswati itself. There are 7 rivers, and the Saraswati also have tributaries, many tributaries. like six or seven tributaries also mentioned. So the primary reference is to those seven rivers, not necessarily the Saptasindhu that comes later. And Saraswati is also called Ritavari. Ritavari means the truthful. So all these mentions are there in the sixth mandala of this Saraswati. And similarly, for example, if you look at third and seventh mandala, that is during the period of Vishwamitra and Vasishta, the two priests of King Sudas. So sixth mandala is the period preceding, that is older than Suda. But then third and seventh mandala period is the period which is like part of the Suda's period itself. And in this period, what I mentioned, the chariot, this kind of races, not necessarily the horses, but these chariots driven by bulls. All these things are part of the this third and seventh mandala. These kind of informations are found actually. And there is a interesting noun called Saraswant mentioned in the seventh mandala, which basically refers to for example, buffalo, etc. So what I have identified in buffalo is because there is a synonym for buffaloes, which are like who are buffaloes bathing in Saraswati, of course Saraswant, like that. There are a lot of identifications that is being happening. But Saraswant also can be a reference to a god, that is rain god. The rain god that supplies water to Saraswati is also called Saraswant. So that is another kind of interpretation for this particular word, Saraswant. That is a masculine word which is related to Saraswati. So of course, I would tell that maybe both identification can be true, like buffaloes in the Saraswati river is called Saraswant. But more precisely, because Saraswati is a rain-fed river, to indicate that geological factor, Saraswant as a rain clouds or the rain gods, which nourishes Saraswati through rains, make more sense. And there are so many references of Saraswati in the middle mandalas, that is the first mandala, etc., where Saraswati is deified, and mentioned along with the goddesses like Gungu, Sinivali, Raka. And Gungu, Sinivali, and Raka are lunar goddesses. So goddesses related to lunar cycle. So there are certain definitions for this Gungu, like full moon and new moon. So goddess of full moon is, or goddess of new moon. So these are called Gungu, and Sinivali and Raka, etc. So for example, the name Rakesh comes from the word Raka actually. So these are all goddesses and related to lunar cycles, like full moon, new moon, and lunar fortnights. That is Shukla Paksha and Krishna Paksha. So there are goddesses related to that. That is these kind of goddesses. So of course, Gungu is a new moon day, and Sinivali is the day before the new moon, and Raka is the full moon, exact full moon day, and like that. So these are all related to the lunar cycles, and Saraswati is also mentioned along with that, because moon causes tidal effects. So because of that, Saraswati river, it's subject to tide. It goes upwards and downwards, etc. So similarly, Anumati is like the day before full moon. These are all four goddesses basically in terms of if you say full moon, new moon, and day before full moon, day before new moon, like that. So this is also very interesting. And then there is 8th and 9th mandala, that is the late mandalas. Saraswati is again mentioned in those 8th and 9th mandala, that is very late mandalas, where she is mentioned in connection with Saptarshis. That is currently defined as Bharadwaja, Kashyapa, Gautama, Atri, Vishwamitra, Jamadagni, and Vasishtha. So these are found in the 9th mandala, and there are certain kings, some rare kings, etc., mentioned in the 8th mandala in relation to Saraswati. So that also we will be able to see. And last and very interesting references to Saraswati is found in the 10th mandala, where Saraswati comes. See, for example, towards the late mandalas, Saraswati is more and more like, even though the river was flowing exactly at the same time, Saraswati is considered as a goddess, and we can't see many chronologically any phases wherein Saraswati is not defined as a goddess, because even in the early mandala where the Saraswati was flowing in full flow as a river, she was deified and treated as a goddess. But as a like a little more references to the goddess Saraswati compared to the river Saraswati start emerging in the middle mandalas, and that increases further and further in the last 8th and 9th and 10th mandala period, where Saraswati is even part of funeral hymns. So Saraswati is related to birth of the kings. Like we mentioned, the Bodhasa is considered as a gift of Saraswati. So she is also an integral part of funeral. So right from the birth and death of our Bharata kings, river Saraswati becomes a part of it. Means she was completely integrated and inseparable from the cultural aspects of the kings who were ruling on the banks of Saraswati right from birth. Their entire life was on that river, and even their death, Saraswati is important. So that means the entire civilization completely and fully depend upon river Saraswati, like much more than a mother. That is the kind of situation that by the time the 10th mandala like by the 10th mandala, the Saraswati also part of the funeral hymns, or the suktas related to death, or like postpartum, or the funeral related kind of rituals. Saraswati is an important part of it. Without Saraswati, you cannot do the funerals. That is the kind of situation in the 10th mandala. So that is the kind of significance. The significance that Bharata kings gave to Saraswati is much more than their own mothers, who gave birth to them. Saraswati is more greater mother than the actual mothers who gave birth to them. That was the kind of situation. By the time of the late Ṛgvedic 10th mandala period, they are completely integral to their entire life. They can't think about a life without Saraswati. That is the kind of how Saraswati has completely penetrated their entire lives, like that. And the last, but not the least, is the Nadi Sukta, where I mentioned about the enumeration of the rivers like Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Sudutri, like that. And the significance is that the 21 rivers referred in the Nadi Sukta, and the single sukta or largest body of geographical or information about rivers in the Ṛgveda, because we have around 40 plus hydronyms and around 30 plus rivers, out of which 21 straight away given by Nadi Sukta. It's a very important sukta as far as rivers of Ṛgveda is concerned. And in that Nadi Sukta, that is a 75th sukta of the 10th mandala, you have the enumeration very clear, so that it is on the face of any Western scholar which tells that the river is in Afghanistan, there is total refutation, because the river is between enumerated after Ganga, after Yamuna, then comes Saraswati, and after that comes Sudutri or Satluj.